Are you surviving or are you actually living? When intense suffering is activated with you or some of your generations before, with your parents, with your grandparents, or before that, then somehow suffering can get stuck in the system energetically, generationally. That's something I definitely felt, that some intense suffering happened to people in my family, and I felt that in my system very intensely. And it was because it was a big thing. I mean, it was not a small thing. It was a big thing that happened. And you have suffering that's defining the life of many generations afterwards. And this was suffering I already knew about as well. And the interesting thing is that when you have this intense suffering going on, suffering and death can be very related. Like most of what our suffering is in some way either avoiding suffering itself or avoiding death. And we're just genetically programmed to do that too. Right? From an evolutionary biology standpoint, we're meant to survive. And the question I want to ask you is, are you surviving or are you actually living? Because there's a big chance that you're actually feeling like you're surviving. And the reason for that is that there was a crisis and a survival situation, maybe in your life or those of your parents or before, that's still stuck somehow. And the solution to that is accepting suffering or accepting death. If you want to live, we should accept death and accept suffering, which is, you could say, it's part of life. So this is what I found looking at myself over and over, and these things that I felt in my family, is that somewhere, somehow, someone needs to accept the suffering that these people went through. That's still in the DNA. That's still in your expression of life. That you don't really feel like you're living, but you're still surviving while the crisis is long gone. You, even yourself, me, myself, I didn't really go through that crisis at all, right? It was something I knew about from my family, but it's not something that I went through. But I was still surviving in my life. So our relationship with suffering, our relationship with death, is a crucial one. Because if we accept death and accept suffering as part of this, as an experience, then we can really live. So this is what I want to point you to, is that if you're feeling like you're surviving, then please look at your suffering and look at death and start to embrace both death and suffering, and erase sort of the pain in that sense that has bothered generations. In your piece of life, you may probably find this piece that has been stuck there for generations, and it will release when it is seen and accepted. And when suffering and death is okay, nothing can touch you in that sense. On the mental, spiritual level. Much love to you. Bye.